This is Seth David for the Sleeter Group, bringing to you a very special screencast. This time we're talking about how to handle consignment goods in QuickBooks. Give us a call for information about memberships and resources at 888-484-5484.
Hey, Seth David here, and before we get started on consignment goods, I want to show you something, because this tip you're about to watch in video form comes right out of the Sleeter Consultant's Reference Guide. Now, the one I'm holding here is from 2012. However, by the time you're watching this video, you're going to be able to pick up your 2013 Sleeter Consultant's Reference Guide. So check the description of the video for the link directly to there, or just go to sleeter.com/products/consultant, and you'll be able to see our entire list of products that we offer for you, including the QuickBooks Consultant's Reference Guide for 2013. Now stay tuned for our tip on how to handle consignment goods in QuickBooks. So now that you've got things set up, we are ready to start actually handling inventory on consignment. And specifically what that means is we've got it set up, which means now we're ready to go find somebody to sell our goods on consignment. And then, of course, the question is going to be, what do I do now that I have somebody who took 5 of my items and they're willing to sell them on consignment for me, which is so nice of them. So we're going to come over here to Vendors, and then we're going to go to actually the Inventory menu. In some cases, it's going to be in the Vendors menu and Inventory Activities. In other cases, it's going to be the Inventory menu. And it depends which edition of QuickBooks you're using. And then we're going to adjust quantity or value on hand. Okay, so again, some versions of QuickBooks you're going to go to Vendors and then Inventory Activities, and then you'll find the same option, adjust quantity or value on hand. It's a good thing I know these products. So I click on that, and QuickBooks takes me in to a wonderful place. And you're going to set the date. You can really just do quantity here. You don't need to do anything with value because we're just moving inventory from the regular category to the consignment category so that we have it tracked properly. So let's take our item 5029, okay, 03-55. This is one of the items that, if you recall, and you can see it comes up as I start typing it in both sections. So we're going to transfer it out of this section and into the consignment section. And we're going to transfer 5 of them. So very simply, and the easiest thing to do is just do a quantity difference and say -5. QuickBooks kind of does the rest for you. And then again, 5029, this time we want the one that's in the consignment goods section. And we're going to say +5. So the total value of the adjustment, looking down here, is 0. The total number of item adjustments is 2. We're adjusting 5 items out of, a quantity of 5 out of one, and a quantity of 5 into the other. So there's 2 adjustments. It all washes out because it's the same item with the same cost and everything. We're just moving it to another section of the item list, which, if you recall, because we set up another asset account, is effectively also moving it to another section of the balance sheet. And I'll show you what I mean. Let's run a balance sheet real quick, because you're going to see that right now I only have the regular inventory asset, but as soon as I save this transaction, I will have the first thing ever that appears in the consignment goods inventory asset. So I'll come over here and I'll click Save and Close, and it'll let me know that this modification affects transactions in the close period which could impact your previously filed tax returns, and so on. Always read these. Make sure before you click yes that you understand what you're doing. I'm going to say yes. Obviously, this is a sample company file, so there's no issues or consequences. And sure enough, as soon as my balance sheet refreshes, I can see that I've got, at cost, $92.50 worth of inventory in the consignment inventory category. And, of course, the inventory asset value just dropped by the exact same amount. So that's how you get the inventory transferred onto your, into your consignment goods section in the items based on the way that we've just had you set them up. Notice also in the item list now, under consignment, of course, the quantity update. So everything works, and you don't have to take my word for it. You can see right here, I've proven it to you. So now let's take a look at what happens when we're ready to actually sell some of these goods, or when a sale has occurred, I should say, and we want to record that sale. Let's take a look. Stay tuned. Okay, so we've made our adjustments, and now what we want to do is we want to get ready to sell the items, or get set up so that we can be prepared when we're informed that the items have sold, for how to post them. So there's two things we need to do. The first thing is we need to post a sales order. So I'm going to come up here to Customers, and I'm going to go to Create Sales Orders right here. And what I want to do is, for all the items that I've sent out on consignment, I want to post a sales order. So let's do that. We're going to pick a customer, call it, and the customer is the consignee, right? Because we don't know who their customer is. They're going to sell it to their customer. We just sold it to them once they've sold it to one of their customers. So we're going to sell it to consignee number 1, and we're going to use the same 3 items that we used already in the example, and we're going to use the sales order from the consignment items inventory. So we'll do all 3 of the items that we have created, and the last one is the P03. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. 5038. And we're going to say that we have ordered 10 of these, and 30 of these, and 40 of these. So this will put all these quantities up on a sales order, so that when the consignee comes back and says, hey, I've actually sold 4 of these, and 3 of those, and 2 of these, we can simply invoice right off the sales order. So I hit Save and Close. And I'm going to hit yes. We got the same warning about the close period. Again, this is a sample company file, so I needn't worry about it. Now what we want to do is we want to take a look and see what this looks like. Now I showed you on the balance sheet what it looked like when we transferred the inventory. But there's going to be a really helpful report that we're going to want to look at, especially when you're managing inventory, and that's the inventory stock status by item. And what you'll see here is, as I scroll down to the consignment items section, you'll see that we transferred. First of all, we transferred the inventory out of the original categories and into the consignment section. And I transferred 10, 45, and 50. I just did that on my own between recordings. Then we just posted the sales order. And so we said we're going to put 10 of these on sales order, 30 of these, and 40 of these. So notice what it does. It says, okay, so that means there's 0 of these available, 15 of these, and 10 of these. So it keeps it nicely tracked for us in terms of being able to take a look and quickly see what's out on consignment and what's not. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be informed by the consignee that they have in fact sold some of these. So all we have to do now is produce an invoice, and Control-I is a keyboard shortcut to bring up the invoice, and it's going to be consignee number 1. And of course QuickBooks comes up and says, hey, we've got available sales orders. So I can check this off and click OK. And then it wants to know, do I want to create an invoice for all of them or just for selected items? So let's say we didn't sell all of them, but just some, so we'll say create invoice for selected items. And then we get this dialog here, where we can say, okay, here are the 3 items. And we can widen that up a bit so it's easier to read. And then we're going to say, how many do we invoice? Let's say they said we sold 2 of these, 5 of these, and 10 of these. Then we say OK. And so now we have our invoice, and it shows everything. It shows, what's on the sales order, how many have been ordered, back ordered, invoiced. Okay, and then we get an invoice total, and of course this is what the consignee has to pay us for all of these items. If I say save and close, I'll click yes there. And now we can see that we no longer have the same quantities on sales order, of course, nor do we have the same quantities on hand in total. Everything has been updated, of course. So that, my friends, is how we handle the whole process in terms of being the consignee, or the consignor, and selling to a consignee. Now in the next section, we're going to take a look at the flip side of this. We're going to take a look at what happens when I agree to sell consignment goods on someone else's behalf. So now I am going to be the consignee, and I'm going to sell on behalf of the consignor. So let's take a look and see what that looks like. Stay tuned.